Hey, nailed it.
Turkey!
Turkey time! It's turkey talk.
Time.
Welcome to Turkey
Turkey time.
Tuesdays.
Do you like the breast or the legs, Andrew?
Oh, you know me in all aspects of my life. I am a breast guy.
Breast man.
I am a breast man.
Breastest friends.
We are breast friends. And welcome, my breastest friend, to the Experience Point. It is Talk Tuesday, as you know. I'm not telling you this, Josh. You already know this. Everyone who's watching. It is Talk Tuesday. Welcome. We are going to talk. We definitely have not been talking for almost an hour off mic.
I know.
We were both just very late today in the exact amount of time.
We just had a lot of stuff in the fields, and we just wanted to, kind of get it out. And I'm feeling I've got a lot off my chest. A lot of stuff that I needed to vent that is too hot for the mic, too hot to handle.
The hot mic.
Live.
My headphones would have melted and grafted to my skin. I would have been like
some lava.
It would have been like Lobot from Star Wars, the guy who looks like he has headphones like in his brain. Anyway, that was a deep cut, but I like to think that we had a long talk about masculinity and non-toxic masculinity, and I like to think that you are one of the people in my life that I can look to that is not a toxic man.
Oh, thank you.
And we were talking about how little people, how few people kind of exist in these types of, our spaces that that are like that. So I'm just trying to live like Aragorn. We talked about that a little bit. I was like, I just want to be Aragorn. He wasn't afraid to kiss his friends on the head. He wasn't afraid to. He was the type to tuck the homies in goodnight, and and it's so like it's hard. It sucks to find hope and find some reasons to keep going in this world, but.
I'm so sorry we had a very serious, but you just said it's hard and it sucks, and it just was a little too perfect.
Well, I take back everything I said. No,
no, but you're 100% right. It's just just kind of lamenting the fact that there's not a lot of positive masculine role models. Unfortunately, without rehashing our off mic conversation, just a lot of stuff where it's like it feels like the only people who talk about masculinity, and it's all the people who are in the toxic space of it. I'm not even going to name their names because they're all fucking abysmal human beings.
Yeah, and they don't need our help to promote them.
No, they're already fucking. It's frustrating, and I wish there was more masculine progressive voices online that were like. I understand. I'm not saying they'll be at the same level as like the Rogans or anyone else up that high, but like just. Something where someone with a following. That's what I would like to see. And if there is someone out there like that I don't know of, not that I'm like craving for something like that. Like I'm pretty comfortable in my masculinity, but sometimes it is nice to have like a boost to be like, yeah, it's okay to be masculine and actually treat, trans and LGBT people with dignity, and people of color not be a racist piece of shit.
Right.
We
all need peers.
Shouldn't be mutually exclusive like the fucking
they really should.
Tates and other fucks like would make you believe.
You just named two of the people you said you weren't gonna name.
Well, Tate is a fucking taint. That's
Taint.
What he is.
Yeah, Andrew Taint. It embarrasses me to share the same first name. Well, I brought that up to say not to rehash everything we were just talking about for almost half an hour, but I wanted to say this is our last stream before Thanksgiving, so I am thankful for you, Josh Koval, and I love you. And
I love you too.
Thanks, man. I would love to talk about, before we get into things that we've experienced, like it's so hard to find positivity right now in the world. So what are some things that you are thankful for this year? I know it's a bit cliche and a bit corny, but
no, but I think that it's fucking important to like talk about that.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to talk about what you're thankful for, because there's sometimes it's a quote from The Office, and I think it's a really good one. Why do you like? I forget. It's a quote from Andy Bernard towards the end of the series where he's like it. Like you don't realize it was the good times until you've already left the good times, type of thing. And I'm gonna find that exact quote. It really got me like poetic. Have you seen The Office all the way through?
No, never.
It's there's got some good stuff. Hold on. Oh, this is a yeah, okay, this is a wistful one. I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I
And
was.
I sorry,
Oh no, you go ahead. You can finish. I was gonna go
I am
somewhere.
just a firm believer that you should acknowledge to tie this in with what you're saying. What are you thankful for? That's a way for you to figure out are you like what's happening right now is the good old days. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
acknowledge like right now, I'll tell you what's the good old days for me right now, like that I'm currently in. The podcast. I love doing this. I love
yeah,
the community that I've built. I love the people that I've met. Um, it's consistently growing. I can look back on specific years and think of like 2021 was a great year because that's when I kind of figured out my voice, I would say officially, like how I would actually podcast and what the show was going to be and that kind of thing. Um, and that's also when I started doing the cartoon episodes where me and my buddy Dexter would do have been rewatching like old video game cartoons, like one episode a
hmm,
month type of thing. Um, and I think that's really cool. And I can remember like 2021 just was a really good year because it was the year my daughter was born and all this stuff. Like those were the good old days. That was only 3 years ago. We're still in the good old days. You don't feel like it because you can't have nostalgia for something you're experiencing in the moment.
yeah, that's true.
Like that part of knowing you were in the good old days is part of like loving the good old days is being nostalgic for something that already happened, and you can't do that when you're in the present.
Right.
So the best thing
Huh.
you can do is be thankful for what you currently have.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for you, thankful for our friendship. I'm thankful for Talk Tuesday because
Yeah.
like admittedly at first I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to want to do this every single week.
I remember.
Just and there are weeks where I'm like, all right, like I'm not like actively dreading it, but I'm also not excited for it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I enjoy every single time, you know. And so I'm a firm believer in being like talking about what you're thankful for, just so that to make you aware of all the good stuff in your own life, because it's so easy to fall into the shit of like, oh, this country's fucked for A, B, and C reasons, which there's a lot of reasons for that. No ifs, ands, or buts. Not trying to downplay the severity or not deny reality, but at the same time, the reality is there's also still a lot of good things. So I have a new house. I'm very thankful for my new house, even though I found out some of the doors are hollow.
Right.
That's been new within the last 3 days. I was playing with my daughter and I stuck my hand, like she closed the door to her room and she was like giggling, and I stuck my hand underneath the door just to kind of like go like
Yeah.
type of thing.
And it
Um,
shattered like a saltine.
well, no, I was like, wait, why is there like nothing firm underneath it until I get to the other side? I could literally like squeeze the sides of the door
Oh
together.
no.
And I'm like, what the fuck? There is foam at some parts of it. Like
Oh, you
there's
got the
styrofoam
houses.
inside.
That's one of those new houses. They do the 2-ply doors.
It's like the top part is like wood, and then the bottom half is like filled with foam, but they didn't fill the whole fucking door with foam. So
Oh my god. Yep.
and it's like on every goddamn door in the upstairs at least. I don't know about the downstairs, they at least, you know, got nicer doors, but the upstairs doors are cheap as shit.
Hashtag flip life.
Oh my god, dude. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? My doors are hollow? Like you got it anyway. But
Well, they're
that's
easy to
amusing.
break down if there's an emergency.
That's true. You know,
Something to
maybe
be
we'll keep
thankful
them up like
for.
that. But I'm thankful for the house. I'm thankful for my wife and for my daughter. My daughter is so cool, man. She's so awesome.
Yeah,
I love.
your wife just got a new job, so
Yes, my wife got a new job. And I'm thankful for my family. You know, we were talking off my family and I have severe political disagreements, but the thing I know about them at their core, regardless of how their opinions are, they are good humans. And I know it because I see the way they treat other people. I know the vote doesn't necessarily connotate that, and it's very confusing for me, but that's on me. That's not on anyone else. But I'm very grateful for my parents and how they raised me, because regardless of how they vote, I see how they treat people, and they treat people really like one of the weirdest things I should say weirdest, one of the memories I always had of like field trips and shit is that every single kid, like unprompted, not every single, a lot of kids unprompted, if my mom was a chaperone for a field trip, or my dad used to be a janitor at an elementary school in the same district I went to, not at my school, but at a different school. And people always talk about how nice they were. Everyone always talked about how awesome my mom was, because she treated everyone so well.
Yeah.
And so I think
I have a lot of fond memories of your parents. I know we didn't interact too much, but like,
yeah,
times where I'd come over to hang out and they'd always be really pleasant. And yeah, like you said, even though just disregarding the way that they vote, you can still. I know it's like a.
It's a you know what, we're kind of tangentially connected to our conversation off stream. It's a very privileged thing for me because I'm not a marginalized group that gets affected by their vote. At least not as much as other groups. So the way I can do my part is to help marginalized group is use that privilege by being able to have those conversations with people who they probably wouldn't feel comfortable talking to.
Yeah. And
that's totally fair. But yeah, I'm just grateful for a lot of stuff in my life, and just so grateful for this podcast, man. Like I've said, I say it when I do I have a year-end post every year where I like shout out all my guests that I've had on for the show, both people that are first-time guests or people that I've had on a bunch of times, and I always try to keep track of like, I'm gonna see if I still have the Google sheet of it. I was keeping track of like how many guests I had on the show each year. Okay, yeah, I still have this. This I want to say was from. Oh, is this from this year? No, this is total. Okay. I'm gonna have to like. Why did I? Okay, I'm very confused by this. In any case, I think I was just counting to see how many total guests I've ever had on the show, just period. You know, like not in a specific year. And so far, and this is including friends, like friends that I know in person and also people I've met. And I haven't updated this in a little while, but I've had over 151 guests.
Whoa, that's one for every of the original Pokemon.
Yeah, right. Well, and the thing is, I haven't. I'm gonna have to look up like my most recent stuff with this. I'm gonna have to check on all this, but like, because I'm pretty sure I've added more like newer guests as well. Yeah, like there's at least like a few more that I have to. Oh no, I did add him. Anyway, it's not important, but there's a bunch of people that I have yet to really add to this list as well, and so it's gonna go above 151 probably as soon as I finish looking through all this.
Dang, that's wild.
Yeah, and but that's crazy. Like I never really thought like my show would ever get to any type of level that I would have stuff like that. It's just I'm very grateful for all that stuff.
Well, 10 years is not a short period of time. Is that individual guests or 151
individual guests?
Wow,
that's not including how many episodes. That's not including repeats and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, it is kind of surreal to see that, but it's. Hey man, I think it's cool to me. Like that's
super cool.
Yeah,
damn.
And I'm up, like just looking right now. I added 3 more, so I'm up to 154.
Nice. So we're getting into Johto territory now.
I know, right?
Gold and silver.
Well, how many Pokemon are? It's like over 200 in that era, right?
Just in Gen 2?
Yeah,
I think they added.
Or was it like only like 40? Did they add or some shit like that?
I feel like they added a ton, like probably about 100, maybe like 90. I don't know where I'm getting these numbers from. It's a 30-year-old memory. But yeah, that's cool, man. I mean, I know you had your 10-year anniversary episode lately, which was awesome and great to be a part of that. Yeah, I don't have the level of I guess, fame from content creation that you do, or the the connections. But I am still very grateful for my streaming community as well. And I always say, like, even when there's just one person in chat, like it makes it all worth it to me, especially when I'm streaming by myself, because then I'm just like, I don't feel like such a crazy person because I'm sitting there being like, ha ha ha, oh, did you see that? Oh my God. And it's like having someone to interact with in real time. Just
it's super important. That's why it's a little like, I'll never yell at people who lurk and everything like that. Like, I get it. Like, you don't always want to be social. Totally fair. Yeah. Totally valid. But it really sucks the energy out of a stream to not have anyone to speak to.
Yeah, it definitely does. So I'm very grateful for, maybe I'll just shout out a few people. I know these are primarily people from your community that have come over, but people like Parallax Puddles, and we had our most recent follow, Mick Arcade, came in the chat last week, and Keaton and Barefoot Link Lover is a very special energy when he comes in. And someone from international community as well. He's from England, so I'm always like, go to bed, because usually when I'm streaming, it's like 2 a.m. over there.
Yeah, because they're 5 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, but he
I had to work around a recording schedule recently for that.
Damn. Yeah, he works nights though, so sometimes he's just like, yeah, I'm just at work. So, okay. Drew the Damager, of course, always popping into each other's streams, and yeah, Drew. I like Drew a lot. I like when he gets mad at video games, because then the Boston accent comes out more. He's like, oh my God, dude, you friggin' see that thing over there?
Does my Philly accent? I don't have a Philly accent though.
I feel like you have a Philly suburb accent sometimes.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I don't know. I don't know if I have one. I think I don't
say wooder. I say water.
Yeah. That's the like Philly. Yeah. The one thing I noticed that I always say, like, so I was born in Pittsburgh, so I will sometimes say like dog. I'll be like, oh, look at that, it's just so little dog. And I'm like, oh my God. I think we talked about this before, actually. No, it's not as bad as I feel like I am Shakespeare compared to my dad, because he's always like, hey, how you doing? Hey, you going downtown? What are you doing? It's so funny. I forget
I love accents, man. I love them so much.
The Pittsburgh accent gets a bad rap, but I definitely think, and you know this one, so I'll see how you feel about this. Way worse, Delco accent. I don't
know if I know a Delco accent.
Oh, it's like the Bam Margera accent. Like, oh, dude, I'm going down to Wawa and getting a hoagie for only $2.
Oh, the ones that's what everyone does when they do a Philly accent.
Yeah, going to Wildwood.
Like if anyone tries to do a Philly accent on like a TV show or like a talk show, that's their go-to.
Yeah, I feel like the city of Philly is a little bit closer to New York than probably they would like to admit.
Oh, but yeah, absolutely.
Particularly like the Delco, the Delaware County, like, and they're always the same type of dude. It's like they've got the lifted trucks with the ball sack hanging off the back with the Monster Energy drink and their Carhartt hoodie as they're going into Wawa with their sunglasses backwards on their head while they just finished recording a video in their truck about fucking, the woke mob. It's a very particular type of guy, like that. I always starting fights in the Wawa parking lot. Oh my God, dude! I went down to the parking lot and I just like fucking had a few cigs in a fight. Yeah, it's the Bam Margera, like, oh my God, Ape and Phil are gonna go nuts over there. Anyway, back to. Oh wait, last thing about the Pittsburgh accent. I forget if I. If I told you this last week or the other week, but my dad called me up the other day and he was just like, hey, Drew the Damager, we were just talking about
your ears were burning. We were saying who we were thankful for. And this is being sincere. We were saying we're thankful for you.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
Talking about our, respective communities and our people that we've met and interact with. And yes, that is totally a douchebag. You're talking about
Absolutely.
A douchebag. But no, my dad and his like ridiculous Yinzer accent was just like, he called me up. Obviously, I had the vasectomy, and he called up and he's like, hey, how your balls doing, bud? It's just like, oh my god, only he could pull that off.
You ever watch Scrubs?
A little bit, yeah.
There's a character in it named the Todd who, not a very good character at all. He's always sexually harassing women, but by the end of the show, he sexually harasses everyone. And so there's a moment where JD is. There's an episode where he gets self-conscious because he can't get his thing up, a little bit of ED, and Todd walks by and goes, "Hey, bud, how's your penis?" And then keeps on walking. And JD is like, "How does he know?" Wait, he says it to everyone. And then the camera switches to see Todd still walking behind JD and like down the hallway behind him.
Yeah.
And it's just some other guy like, "Hey, bud, how's your penis?" He's just asking everyone.
Like, that's just the way that he is. That's awesome.
Well, that's the end. Basically, there's an episode where they try to fix Todd and try to have him treat women with respect. And it doesn't work because he tricks them, and then he like motorboats the two girls.
Oh my god!
And then they're like, "Todd, I thought we fixed you." He's like, "You're like, thanks for making everyone think that I'm gay. Chicks dig gay dudes." And then but then he goes like, he's like, but then they walk away. Carla and oh my gosh, Elliot walk away. He's like, "Thanks for walking away. There's nothing wrong with that." And then he looks to a dude. It's like, "Nothing wrong with that either." Or that. And like literally every single human, he starts getting turned on by just humanity. And the janitor finally walks up and he's like, what the hell are you? He's like, "I'm the Todd." And he just keeps on going. And so it turns into like this non-exclusionary sexual deviant. It's a very weird character arc.
He's just into everybody.
Into everyone.
He's like,
treats everyone with disrespect.
Yeah.
"Hey, bud, how's your penis?"
How's your penis? How does he know? That's funny.
Oh, that's a good one.
Well, on the topic of things that
penises,
on the topic of peni, I remember we used to always do the thing where we'd pluralize words that like shenanigan. Yeah.
Multiple shenanigans.
Multiple shenanigans. Or there's one I would always say that was like, I would say singuli, like multiple single things, aka multiple things. Singuli, it's a plural. It's a plural singular thing.
The plural singular.
Oh god, that's taking me back to
bitches.
Take me back to college.
My god.
But yeah, in terms of what I am also thankful for, it's sad that I don't have a whole lot, but what I do have is very strong. The relationship that I was in prior to this one and the shit show that was. I am in the healthiest relationship of my life with somebody incredibly, attractive. Whew. Incredibly attractive, incredibly emotionally aware, emotionally intelligent. I may jinx it because we're coming up on 2 years and we haven't argued once. We just talk through, when there's a conflict, we just talk through it like adults.
That's healthy though.
Yeah.
Relationships don't mean absence of conflict. It just means that when you have just because you don't argue doesn't mean if you didn't argue at all, if you had no conflict at all,
right?
Actually, that means there probably is a problem. It means you probably don't care.
Or we're hiding things from each other.
Exactly. But the fact that you're willing to have conflict and resolve it amicably is important. That's how, my wife and I can count on one hand, and we've been together for over 10 years. We legitimately got into the point where we yelled and argued at each other once.
Wow.
When there's conflict, we get annoyed at each other. We'll storm off in a huff, but then we always come back and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. One of the things that we the tenets of our relationship is while it's any maxim or whatever is going to be yeah, that's great in the moment, but you have to keep it in your mind. And for us, it's leading with love. And it's a nice little alliteration there. Lead with love. Am I doing that right now if I'm being defensive and being no, that's not leading with love. That's, and it's also not getting to the bottom of the real issue. But yeah, and I'm just incredibly thankful for Polisa. I love that when she can come on here and we can play games together. We started playing Little Nightmares 2. We started playing the other night, or last Wednesday, and the power went out 4 minutes into the stream. So Jeez. We're like, okay, cool. Well, so I'm thankful that she's a nerd. We can, well, when we have a little bit more money, we plan to cosplay together. We were going to cosplay from Arcane, which I know you haven't watched the second season, which I
haven't even touched it. I haven't even watched The Sopranos.
Whoa! I'm dying to talk about the second season of Arcane with somebody. I mean, obviously, I'd talk about it with Polisa, but very thankful for her. I'm thankful that I have, like, finances are strained right now, but we are not in danger of being, I mean, 1 or 2 missed paychecks and we may be in danger, but like we're at that point, but like we're not in danger of being homeless or not being able to eat. We're eating struggle meals, like college meals, sure, but like we're able to eat. We're able to have clothes, we have shelter, it's getting cold, you know, like we have heat, somewhere with heat. I'm thankful that I was able to get a vasectomy. I'm thankful that I don't have to worry about, you know, something that
you don't want any little Rugrats running around?
I don't want any little Rugrats running around. I'm thankful. Nope. One of each of us is plenty and is enough. On the subject of money, I finally up here changed my my goal, which is no longer a PS5. It is now, I'm going to put my current needs as far as getting the F out of the country, because that is my number one priority right now, our number one priority right now. And right now, I realize that getting a passport is friggin' expensive. It's $130. So that's my current goal. Christmas is coming up. If you want to do the thing. I like watching Andrew stream, but it's a treat watching Polisa and Andrew stream. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I had somebody come in. I don't know if I should be worried about this, but somebody came in and was like, when is Polisa going to be on next? And I was like, oh, well, usually it's on Wednesdays. If we do a Girlfriend's Day instead of a Wildcard Wednesday. So yeah, like check it out then. And then they just immediately left. And I was like, oh, okay. That feels like it's a little bit, I don't know. It's the internet. I don't know this person in real life.
That's a little weird.
So
that's a little weird.
I was like, okay. I mean, maybe she's got a great personality, sure, and she's gorgeous and great to look at. But like, are you being a creep about it, or anyway? I don't know. But yeah, and thanks for that, Drew. I loved our stream of Psychonauts. Like when I think it was the first time you came into one of our streams. I think it was after one of these. And we were, Polisa beat it, and she was like having a really hard time, like with the final boss. And you were very supportive, and we're just like, you know, she brought the energy up from the depths of like scraping the bottom of the barrel, and was like, no, I want to do this. And I think a lot of it was because I think if nobody was in the chat, she probably would have given up. But having you there to talk to and just even sharing experiences, we're here on the experience point, obviously. I'm coming back to just being grateful for you, Drew, and all of our streaming family here, I guess, if you want to call it our streaming found family that I'm slowly building. Anyway, look at checking out time. I know we're at 9, so are you streaming tonight, Josh?
Yes, I need to.
Okay.
I actually do have to, because we can go for another like 10-15 minutes or so. Like we could go to like 9:20. That's no problem. 9:20, 9:30.
Okay.
Just because I have one of the games I'm playing tonight. I couldn't get it to work last night because my capture card is pretty much dead.
Yeah, you're telling me.
But I downloaded a totally legal version of Paper Mario, and actually, you know what? Fuck it, it is legal because I own the physical cartridge.
Yeah,
I do own that cartridge, therefore it is okay. Fuck you,
Nintendo. Fuck you, Nintendo.
But I need to work my way through that, and I actually have also been playing. Not to transition just yet because you're still doing on to what you're thankful for, but I've been playing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that. I don't have my GBA is downstairs. I don't really have a way to play it on stream, but I own this game like complete in box too.
Ooh, CIB.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
In really nice condition too. So
Nice.
yeah. Anyway, so sorry. Continue with your thankful.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I'm thankful for the last thing that I'll say is I've been feeling. I'm gonna start with something negative, but I promise I'm going somewhere positive. I'm obviously looking for a full-time design job right now. Knowing or at least feeling like you have the skills to do a job, and then spending days on days on days applying to jobs and hearing very little back, or an automated response, thank you for whatever, and then never getting anything, or getting a no after no after no, is like really disheartening. And the imposter syndrome was coming in hard. And I was like, maybe I suck at design, and maybe I was never good at this. Like, I don't believe that, but those are the thoughts that are coming in.
Yeah.
And then the day after, I got invited to go to my college, the art school that I went to judge the next round of like the senior showcase for the spring that the seniors are doing, like the whole art show for the whole school. And so I got to go and basically be treated by royalty by my by my alma mater, and just going in there and talking to people that I knew, and seeing the young students like looking at me. And also I was also feeling really good in my body that day, and with my like aesthetic choices and like my outfit and stuff, I feel like was on point. And I just felt like
you are a handsome motherfucker, and don't let yourself tell you otherwise.
Thanks. That's a battle in my head every day.
Oh, I get it. I don't feel good about my own body either. I totally get it.
Yeah, especially my 35-year-old body. Oh, that's sexy, for another time.
35 and sexy.
No. Well, I appreciate it. But yeah, going in there and just seeing like the next generation of artists and designers just kind of looking at me and being like, oh, whoa. Like, just, I saw their eyes being like, looking into the future, and I just felt super cool. I just felt like a Naruto, like Will of Fire type thing. And then going and being able to judge and give feedback, and which was a big part of my job as like a senior designer. Like, it was leading teams of the other designers and like giving them feedback on their work, and like, you know, tell me about this choice, or what do you think about, you know, maybe we can introduce some of these elements here, or what about like maybe some kind of texture here. And doing that again was really cool, and being with some of my like other alum. And I got to a point where I was like, what if I, not to be a professor, but I was like, what if I teach here? Like, they do continuing education classes, and they were like, I was like, do you have any need right now for like a design, like a basic design course for Con Ed? Like, and you know, it's for like high school kids or like adults who just want to like take a class without like enrolling in the school. And they're like, yeah, totally. And the room that we were in, we went past, and I got so jealous, dude. I was like, fuck, they have a whole room that's like, they have an esports team. And so there was a bunch of kids in there playing like Smash and League and Overwatch. And I was like, oh my God, if they had this when I was here, I would have never gotten anything done. But I was like, oh my God, wait, the esports is a whole, because that's a major that it's a minor. They have a game design and as a major, but specifically esports and like gaming business and stuff is one of their minors that they offer now. So I was like, actually, in addition to the design, is there like maybe an esports like class or something that like I, you know, could maybe do like a workshop or something on? Basically what I want to do is play Smash Brothers and get paid for it. But and they're like, yeah, like we're always like looking for, you know, stuff like that. And I was like, that is super cool. So maybe I'll do something like that. And then I left there, and that day I got a lead. I have an interview for a global branding agency. Yeah. So, or they told me they want to set up an interview, and we're like, send us or email this person to set up your interview. And I emailed that person, and then they haven't gotten back to me. But I know it's thanks, Drew. I know it's a holiday week, so I don't anticipate hearing much, but yeah. So all of that validation right after I was feeling so like, oh, maybe like just the imposter syndrome was coming in hard. And I am thankful for the skills that I have developed in graphic design and the value that I know that I would bring like to a company. And I've applied to a bunch of, I may have some freelance work set up with a Japanese company, which would be a great step in the door in order to get a visa for, getting the F out of here, which need my passport up there. All right, I'm going to stop begging for money. But yeah, I came into a point where I was like, I'm actually in a maybe not a good place in my career, but I am ready to start the next chapter of that, whatever that looks like. And I'm very thankful for that.
That's awesome, man. I'm happy to hear.
Very long answer. But while I would still love for the streaming thing to pop off, like I was like, if this blows up, if something goes viral and all of a sudden I have some sponsorship and it's like, well, you can be a full-time streamer now, I would probably do that. But I know that it's a much harder slog, especially building up from basically nothing like I am now.
I've thought about this for a while. Even if it was like not like, even if it was easy to do, like the full-time content creation, I wouldn't want it. Like, I like having separation from it. I like not being forced to make this my entire life for, like I love the podcast, and if I could earn a living off of it, like solely, I totally would. I would still at least have a part-time job though. I want something that makes me excited to podcast, so that way I can, it's like, this shit sucks, which makes podcasting that much more fun.
Oh, that's fair.
Or it doesn't suck, but it's not exactly like, I love my current job, man. I do. The ups and downs of it, I really like my job. But with that said, I like being able to just play. I love being able to talk games. And if for some reason I could, I would never want to be the full-time thing, because you have to pay for all your benefits. You have to figure out all this shit. I can work a full 40 hours a week and then get paid good money at that and get my benefits through there. And then if I can get this on the side as like supplemental income, as like solid supplemental, that would be a dream. That's my personal dream.
That would be awesome.
Work full time where I'm at and have the podcast be like really good, like basically like part-time job income.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, you're not making $80,000-$90,000 a year, which is kind of what you need to live on a full-time job. But if it was making like 20 grand a year, which would be fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like that, I would have a huge listener base, which I don't, and that's fine. Like that's not why I'm doing it. I'm just saying that's like pie in the sky. What would I love? That's what I would love. Where it's not my main job, but I'm able to earn like a really sizable, solid supplementary income from it.
Yeah, I would love that as well. I think my if we're manifesting, my pie in the sky is however I get there, I need probably like $5,000. I use that to commission an artist for my graphic novel that I've been writing since I was in college. Take it to Image Comics. I specifically want Image Comics to pick it up and then be like, "Yep, we're gonna hire you for the next 6 months to a year to produce it." And then that goes big, and it doesn't even have to be like the biggest big of all bigs. Just enough to like have
biggest big of all.
it doesn't have to be the next Walking Dead or whatever, but like I know that it could be big enough to make some passive income, and then doing streaming part-time as well would be awesome, because I don't know if I want to do either full-time. If the opportunity was there, I would absolutely be like, if the opportunity was there to do the work on the graphic novel for the rest of my life and it becomes like this big ongoing thing, sure. If streaming blows up and I have enough money to pay a team to do some of the things that I don't want to do, to have to do everything, like social media marketing and some of the editing, like I'm editing TikToks all the time, and it's so much work for like a 1 to 2 minute video that it's, because I'm going through hours and hours and hours of footage. Like I would love to pay somebody to do that, and then just go to conventions and be like, talk about being a streamer, talk about being a graphic novel, creator, like that type of thing, while living in Japan. That's the pie in the sky dream for me. And I think one or maybe both of those will get there. I just have to keep believing it.
Keep manifesting it. Be thankful for what you have here, and allow that to help push you forward to where you want to be.
Yeah. I'm thankful for being a dreamer. Like, as much as I get tired of being like, oh my God, I want so much more, I wouldn't, if I was just like, yep, I'm totally fine with working my 40-hour week office job where I just make faxes and scan things all day. That's all I ever want to do in life. That sounds miserable to me. Oh. Someone asked me what my streaming goals are. I said, I'd like to make enough money to pay for my Ode Pro. I don't know what an Ode Pro is. My Xbox Ultimate sub and any games I buy, because beyond that, I don't care. I do this shit because I like it. I like that.
Looks like you got a bot in the chat.
Spammer.
If I was a moderator, I could get rid of it for you.
No, you're fine. Gone.
There you go.
I did.
Fuck you. Yeah. Mouse reflector. No, it's just
blasphemous reflector. You can always tell when it's a bot because it's 2 random words, or it's like a first name, a last name, and then 5 numbers. Like I've noticed that across the board. I did just ban links for the chat because I've been getting a lot of those. So that's why, luckily, their spam ass link didn't come through.
And sorry, I'm with you on that, Drew. Like it would be. I do the streaming and content creation stuff for escapism. It's just fun. It's fun. I also think, in a weird sense, I've talked about it in other podcasts. Actually, specifically, the Gamer Looks at 40. One of the reasons that we do shit like this, especially as gamers, is that we are looking for our church. One of the primary reasons, like, you don't have to be religious to agree with this at all. Like, take religion out of it, but the idea of church is to have this communal setting for like-minded people to come and share their faith together. In the gaming space, it's not a proclamation of Jesus. It's a proclamation of Mario and of like Banjo and Smash, or whatever the fuck you want to think, which he is now in Smash. I know it doesn't work anymore, but like it's gaming conventions are churches for geeks. Conventions are churches for geeks. They are a communal space where we all gather together, like-minded people gather together to discuss ideas. And it's as much as the ideas might just be buying shit and talking about, like, going to panels and hearing interesting thoughts and stuff like that. I feel like, kind of like, specifically with why you started this channel, Andrew, with the Experience Point, is like, you are really looking like you thrive off of the communal aspects of geek culture, in the sense of like being able to talk about the things you love and why you love them, and have this type of relationship with the person, like use that as a way to get to know people and understand people. And
I want this to be one of those churches that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's kind, in a weird sense, every Twitch stream, every gaming Twitch stream is kind of like its own little mini church. There are some churches that are larger than others. But like it's a communal space, and and don't get me wrong, sometimes you're gonna have your, like, the church that my wife and I go to is very LGBT inclusive. We have a woman pastor, which is still frowned upon in a lot of Christian churches and shit like that. But for every one of those, you're gonna get your Andrew Tates of the world, and your who would be the Christian equivalent? Joel Osteen.
Oh God,
that fucking piece of shit.
It's the worst.
Forever. And
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk. Oh my God.
I just watched the worst movie of all time. I forgot. I didn't even bring it up.
Is it Fireproof?
No, it's Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. It was the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life. That is something that I've experienced. I forgot to even write it down. It was, Police and I wanted to heal some of our religious trauma, and it didn't work. It made it worse. It's genuinely not even like a good, bad movie. It's just the worst.
Well, when you say heal your religious trauma, was it to laugh at religious stuff, or was it to like find something that was like humanized, like a religion that's actually like a part of Christianity that's actually talking about Christ? If I guess is what I'm trying to ask. Like, in what way were you looking to like kind of heal your religious trauma?
Well, it's Kirk Cameron, so it was definitely all just gaslighting and justification of bullshit views. So I was not going
Kirk Cameron's not a good person.
Yeah, I was not going to Kirk Cameron to find some.
Okay, that's what I was worried about. Like, did you not
some good
know
things
about his bullshit?
No, I actually didn't. But Policia told me about it because she went to like a hardcore like Bible college, and saw some of the worst of humanity. Like I went to a religious high school, so I saw it there, but college is a totally different experience. Like it was basically funded. This movie was like funded by Liberty University, and if you know anything about that or anyone who went there. And I know we do in real life, you know, the types of people that come out of there. Anyway, I totally did not mean to derail you, but I was reminded that there's like a 20-minute like horrible hip hop breakdance scene with all the whitest people you've ever seen in your entire life, and the entire movie is just to justify Christmas being this big, huge spectacle material thing in the face of, you know, like the real message. He literally was like, one of the lines, I shit you not, in this movie is the one guy is like, who's like the Grinch of the movie, is like, well, you know, I just don't see how, if it's supposed to be about Jesus, then what's with the big, huge Christmas tree and all the gifts and all the material things. And he literally goes, well, Jesus was nailed to a cross made of wood, and Christmas trees are also made of wood.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And also, Jesus became a material man. So it's okay for us to have material things. Like I'm truncating it very slightly, but those were that was the message. Was they just connected words and we're like, well, so at that point I was like, so the Catholic Church is loving this because they're like, well, God made little kids, so it's okay for us to be lustful towards them and molest them.
I think what's so infuriating about that is that literally goes against everything I was taught in my own religion growing up, where it's like the whole purpose of Christmas is that Christ, if you believe this shit, like I understand not everyone does, but if you believe in this shit, then it's because Christ gave the ultimate gift of his life to you. It's about being, it's about living a life of servitude and like serving others, being helpful to other people, because that is what God has done for you. You should also do to other people, which completely always gets fucking overlooked by the same people. You know, it's like, well, why would I give money to homeless people? They should pull themselves up by the bootstraps. What happened to being like a servant? Like, that's the whole fucking purpose of it. Anyway,
they address that in the movie too. The Grinch guy is like, so why are we doing this huge thing with like all this money, like when we could be helping poor people? And Kirk Cameron, being Kirk Cameron, was basically just like deflect, you know, like justification.
This is helping people. We're telling people about Jesus, which will be the ultimate help.
But they're not. They're just.
I know. I fucking know.
I know, you know. It was just so absurd.
Oh my God. It just the justification of that shit just drives me up a goddamn wall. Oh my gosh, I get so mad at that type of stuff. There is all like growing up. There's actually a podcast called Good Christian Fun that's kind of amusing, where it's all these people who are now. I call myself an ex-evangelical at this point.
Ex-evangelical, I like that.
I mean, people who still kind of believe, but have been largely like the church is fucked, so get rid of it type of thing.
Yeah.
Or like at least the institution as defund the church.
Defund the church. I am on board. How about tax the church first?
If you're going to say political shit, absolutely. I think that's
right. If you're going to fund politicians.
Anyway. The thing is, like, I will say at the very least, if a church is doing what it's supposed to be doing, Christian or otherwise, it doesn't have to be a Christian church. This could be a mosque. This could be a Buddhist temple, anything. There's usually a lot of community outreach and providing like free events and food for the community, usually to promote their message, obviously, but it's always done in service to the community. And that's what I like, you know, that's what it kind of is meant for. Like, it's building the community and the communal aspect of the church.
You know, like doing what this guy in your book that you love so much apparently, you know, called you to do, which was help people less fortunate than you. God forbid. You may not be able to get that giant SUV or, you know, buy the vacation house that you want to this time.
It's just but no, so they're a podcast called Good Christian Fun, a bunch of ex-evangelicals like myself. Some of them full-on atheists now at this point, but since they grew up in a super conservative religious setting, they talk about the media that they like partook in, like Bible Man. You ever see Bible Man?
I think I've heard of it. There was talks of that around when I was in that high school.
Also, the Donut Man. You ever hear of the Donut? Rob Evans.
Don't know that one.
Name. The Donut Man.
I know VeggieTales. That's about it.
VeggieTales. Fun fact: the creator of VeggieTales, Phil Vischer, is actually pretty progressive.
Really?
Yeah. There's been a lot of he is very active on Twitter. I don't know how progressive he is, but at the very least, he calls out Christians on their BS for not supporting gay people and shit like that.
Nice.
It's kind of nuts to see. He actually seems like a good dude.
Well, sometimes, Larry, an eggplant will fall in love with another eggplant. I'm imagining that episode of the show. Oh, Drew's heading out. Got to start my stream. Not because of all the religious talk. I'm an atheist and I agree with taxing the church. And Kirk Cameron is a dick. That's common sense.
Thank you for putting up with all the religious talk, man. I know you're an atheist. I would never ever try to convince anyone otherwise. It's just more kind of in a weird sense mocking my own religion, because there's a lot to mock.
Yeah,
there is.
I know. I have
deny that.
I've almost entirely stepped away from it, except for the spiritual aspect. I don't know what I would say I am. I hate that I hate the word agnostic, but I guess that's what I am. I just have had a lot of religious trauma surrounding being forced to go to school in that, and having to, and it being one of the founding facets of a lot of really problematic shit that I believed as a teenager, and still am working on deconstructing. I would say I am deconstructed but spiritual, and I am pretty vehemently against organized religion in almost all forms.
I would say I would agree, but there are examples of good churches out there.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, the vast majority are not good. It's just kind of like that whole thing, a few bad apples spoil. There's only a few bad apples. Well, it's the opposite with this, and
right.
Besides, even if there's a few bad apples, if the other apples don't fucking do shit, they might as well not be there in the first place.
Right, and that's on cops. Oops, did I say that out loud? We were talking about that before stream too.
Yeah.
Anyway, take it easy, Drew. Thanks for hanging in there with us and all of our ridiculous talks, and have a good holiday, man. Hope you have a good Thanksgiving, if you celebrate.
If you celebrate, I think it's a pretty secular holiday.
If you are doing anything, I guess. I didn't mean if you believe in Thanksgiving. I just mean if you're doing anything.
It's Thanksgiving, save your soul. So Rob Evans, the Donut Man, was a dude who, he still is alive, but he's not doing his shtick anymore. And it's it makes me hurt. It's so cringy. But he was basically this Christian, overtly Christian Mr. Rogers. I know Mr. Rogers himself was a pastor, but his show wasn't necessarily religious. This dude is talking about he's called the Donut Man because he'd be you see this donut, kids? This is your soul. And without Jesus, you got a hole in the middle of your heart. And then he takes a donut hole and he plugs up the donut. It's this is your life with Jesus, pretty much.
Okay.
Oh, it's so cheesy.
So corny.
It's so bad. And there was a lot of made for home video, the Donut Man goes to camp, and it's him singing with a bunch of kids and shit like that. It's fucking.
All right, kids, I'm gonna fill up your holes.
It wasn't like that.
I know.
Come on now. Not every, but yeah. But that podcast, Good Christian Fun, is making fun of shit like that, like Bible Man, like the Donut Man. There's also a band called the Apologetics, which was
they would do
Christian
covers.
parody band.
Yeah,
they're actually legitimately fucking talented, but they're a Christian parody band.
I will say, as much as I have deconstructed and I'm on whatever journey that I'm on, I will still blast some Relient K. I will still blast some Family Force 5.
I don't know about Family Force 5 in terms of how they are now, but Reliant K, they had a queer Christian artist open for them.
Nice.
There's an openly queer Christian artist named Semler, Semler. They are the real name is Grace Semler Baldridge. Their stage name is Semler. They are an American host and alt Christian singer songwriter. Very they are very, very interesting. But yeah, Baldridge is genderqueer and non-binary and has stated that all pronouns are totally fine.
Cool.
Yeah, they're very
didn't they like deconstruct as well? I don't even know if Reliant K is outwardly like a Christian group anymore.
I don't think they're outwardly a Christian group anymore. Because at least on Wikipedia, it doesn't mention they are a Christian group. I'm very curious as to like what because Grace Semler toured with them in 2022. I'm trying to see if they have like anything. Okay, here we go.
Surprised they're still touring.
Oh yeah, they're still like their last album though came out in 2016, so they haven't released a new album in 8 years at this point.
Was that Collapsed Lung?
No, that was actually Collapsible Lung was 2013. Air for Free is 2016.
I think Collapsible Lung is the last one that I listened to. I mean, nothing will ever top or their self-titled album.
I also love
Two Lefts
4 and 7 years ago.
That one was good. That was, I think, their last great one. Yeah. But that 3 in the middle, like their first one was pretty good. Oh no, not the self-titled one. The self-titled one was good. That was their debut. Then their second one was Tongue in Cheek, Anatomy of Tongue in Cheek, and then Two Lefts Don't Make a Right, but 3 do, which is, I think, their strongest. It's not my favorite, but I think it's their best one. And then which is, God, just a masterpiece.
It's so funny that like you brought up Reliant K because I was literally listening to them before we.
That's awesome.
I was just like, because I was scrolling through like Instagram feeds and whatnot, and they that one like a medley that someone like a cover medley of Reliant K songs came up, and it just kind of got me thinking about it.
Yeah, and they have a legendary catalog.
They also what is it? I also love Switchfoot. Switchfoot was really good too.
Yeah, I never got super into them. I will say though, and again, with everywhere that my life journey has taken me, I still, when I hear the last song on Fourscore, where about his grandfather dying, like, this is my deathbed, him dying and going up to heaven, and the singer
John
of
Foreman
Switchfoot
as God.
being God. Oh my, chills. I cry every time I hear that song. Like, regardless of what I believe now, like every time, it's such like a cathartic and just incredible experience, and just incredible piece of music. I loved them. I didn't really get into Switchfoot. I really liked 1,000 Foot Crutch. Did you know them?
Oh, dude, the 1,000 Foot Crutch is great.
TFK, We Rock the Party. And even their FM Static, like their acoustic stuff, was pretty good. Project 86. Do you remember them?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, they were like a little more on the hardcore side of things. A little more, I guess you could consider that metal at that point. Reliant K is top for me though. Pillar, oh my God, Pillar. We were just talking about Fireproof. What do we do? No, where do we go from here? That album from Pillar, I will still listen front to back.
I don't think I've never really listened to Pillar, actually.
Really?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
That one's great. A little bit like, I mean, you can imagine it's like, you don't need me to tell you this, but a little preachy, like a little, not just like, oh yeah, obviously it's a Christian artist, but like there's one song that's like really going hard on like, you know, it's important that it says in God we trust on our money. It's like, oh, okay.
I was trying to find like if they if there's been a formal statement from Reliant K about like but the fact that they brought Semler up, like on stage with them is like that the Semler was their opening act.
Yeah.
The like it turned off a lot of quote unquote Christians.
Yeah. I'm sure it did.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Matt Thiessen went through a very dark period of super depression and suicide attempts. I think I don't want to speak for him, and then also got divorced. And I was like, speaking from experience, I know what that'll do to you, to your soul. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Let me see if there's any like. Whoa. Matt Thiessen dated Katy Perry from 2003 to 2005.
What? What a weird connection.
Before she was like huge.
Yeah, you know? I remember because I Kissed a Girl came out in 2007, and I only remember that because I was working at a Dairy Queen at the time, and or maybe 2006. And I remember hearing we've talked about how we're from the Philly area, so this isn't going to be. So, Q102.
Yeah.
I was sitting in the booth on my break eating chicken tenders from Dairy Queen. I was and Q102 was playing, and it was like, and here's a new artist coming out, a new pop star, Katy Perry, with her, big debut hit, I Kissed a Girl. And then it goes for a little bit, and then the music starts, and then the DJ comes back on. This is incorrect, but it was still funny. Music comes, goes for a little bit, and then the DJ comes back on, and he goes, lesbians on Q102. And I was like, I mean, she's not. I mean, she says so in the song, but okay. But anyway, yeah. So my first, we can get going soon as well. But my first concert of all time, of ever, was Relient K, and you know who they had open for them when they were absolute nobodies?
Who?
Anne Berlin.
What? Oh, I love Anne Berlin.
I hated them that day. They sucked. They absolutely bombed. And then a couple of years later, or maybe 5 years later, they came out with no, not Bittersweet Symphony. That's the Verve. Paper Thin Hymn, and that album was just incredible. And I was like, God damn it! Why couldn't they have sounded like this when I saw them?
They're so good, man.
Yeah, I like them. Anyway,
we should actually we didn't get to talk about much that we experienced. Can I rattle off a few things real quick?
Yeah,
before
sure.
We go, because I really need to play Paper Mario.
Yeah.
So Paper Mario, also Superstar Saga, and also I guested on a show called Tokyo Game Life. The episode's not going to come out for a few weeks, but one of the things that we did, I'm always on Mono's Game of the Year awards. And it's just like our top 5 games. Doesn't have to be games from this year, just top 5 games that you played. And then we also do our Omake awards, which are basically like useless awards that shouldn't go to anything. So one was like the most Nomura ass video game that wasn't directed by Tetsuya Nomura.
Oh, is that metaphor?
Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh! I thought you meant
that
just
award
this year.
Goes to Dirge of Cerberus.
That's fair. Yeah.
Then the award that I'm going to be talking about for this week was that relates to what I experienced this week was the I Know Better award, and I did it, and that it goes to World of Warcraft.
Oh, I know better.
I started meaning I know I shouldn't be playing it,
but I did it anyway.
But I did it anyway. And I started playing World of Warcraft again.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's been nice to play while I'm editing because it's a lot of monotonous stuff. And I'm playing WoW Classic. I'm not even playing any of the new stuff. And WoW Classic is very slow paced and methodical. And I kind of like that.
Okay.
So it's been nice to do that. And so that's all I've experienced this week in a nutshell. It's WoW is fun.
Nice. I wish that I could, or maybe I don't, because I always feel like I don't have enough time to do the things I do want to do, much less play an MMO. But I'm like, there are some MMOs that I wish I liked more, like Final Fantasy 14. The one I like the most is probably Star Wars: The Old Republic, and that's only because it's basically Knights of the Old Republic 3, and you can play it solo, and it's fully voiced, and it's got the Mass Effect dialogue trees and everything, which is fun. But God, I think I would rather put toothpicks under my toenails and then kick a wall than play WoW. Or like,
really, have you tried it at all?
Yes, yeah. When I worked at GameStop, everybody there played but me. And like, you gotta play, you just get the 7-day free trial and da. And so I did, and we did a little bit together. And I was like, it's just not the gameplay is just not for me. Like, there's a lot that you have to sacrifice when it comes to having a game that can support that many people, and a lot of it comes, in sacrificing of animations, or like characters just move in a very weird way, and there's just so much crap on screen, and you have to like remember all these different moves and watch all these cooldowns.
Oh, and it's gotten worse too.
Yeah.
Like, I disagree with the too much crap on screen and all the cooldowns, because the way, if you start from the beginning, they give you it it progresses you pretty nicely. But with that said, you are very right. The animations are very rudimentary, very basic, because you kind of have to. I actually think what that game has done for me, the reason it sunk its teeth into me, is how fully realized that world is. Like, there is so much excuse me, so much lore in those games. There's so many cool things, like there's storylines and everything. Also, like when you walk around the world, it feels like you're walking around a little world. Like it takes a long fucking time, which may not seem like the most fun, but it adds this sense of immersion to that I've never experienced in other games.
Okay.
But it, like, I don't know, if next time I play it, if I stream it, I'll have to let you know if I'm at an area that I think you would like, because like there's certain areas that I just think are really fucking cool.
Yeah, that's how I felt with Final Fantasy 14 when I played that for a little bit. It looks incredible in a lot of places, and there was even some story beats that I was like, I really like this. I'm really resonating with this. It's just the act of playing an MMO that I just don't really. I try to turn off all of the, like, most of the like nameplates and damage numbers and some of the effects, because I'm like, I can't even see what I'm supposed to attack, and I'm so far away. It's like, what?
Really? You can zoom in pretty easily.
Yeah, anyway. But then you like lose where you are because you're fighting something that's like the size of a freaking skyscraper.
Well, it depends on. I mean, that's like late game usually.
Yeah.
But, anyway, real quick, what have you experienced, and then we'll get going. Or if there's anything you want to shout out real quick.
I would say everything that I experienced, aside from Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas, which is just the most self-dick sucking title of a movie, because it's Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas. Like, he made this, but it's also like, Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas, everyone. It's like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, besides that, anything that I've experienced, I can actually wait until we come back. I would just say, because it is Thanksgiving, the only thing I wanted to see is what we talked about. You asked me if I was a breast guy or a leg guy, and in Turkey and in other ways,
and in real life,
I'm full breast. Always breast. And contrary to my girlfriend, I am actually like really into the white meat. I really only like the white meat. That's the one place where it doesn't really line up. No, I
as our good friend Sakura would say, it's okay. I like it the white.
So I like it the white boy. No, I shouldn't say that. Like, obviously, my ex was black, and it was like, when I started dating Polisa, I had some friends be like, "Oh, you certainly have a type," and it's like, fuck off. Like, I dated two white people in between these two. It's like, they didn't work out. So maybe it is true that once you go black, you don't go back. But it's like, if you look at the actual demographic of people that I've seriously dated in my life since I would say since you're 18, because you're an adult, it's like 2 out of like long-term relationships, like more than a year, it's like 2 out of 7, 2 out of 6 of them, like, were people of color. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being defensive because they're like, oh, this guy likes them dark. I'm like, fuck off. It's like, just because I had 2 in a row, and they weren't even in a row.
That in and of itself is a bizarrely like borderline racist statement. Like, he likes them dark. I'm like, why does that matter?
You have a type. What is my type? I like cute girls. That's the only thing that matters. I've dated 2
big old thing.
I dated 2 trans girls. Are you gonna say like, oh yeah, he's got a thing for them too? Like, fuck off. Like, I don't know. It just makes me mad because people just make
I would
snap judgments so easy. Anyway, speaking of breasts, I was going to ask you, what is your favorite and least favorite Thanksgiving food?
Favorite would have to probably be like stuffing, which I know is a very Pennsylvania type of thing.
Well, we're not going to be friends anymore after this.
What?
That's my least favorite.
Stuffing?
Yes,
Really?
I hate stuffing. It's like seasoned sponge.
That's so good. What are you talking about? It's like salty bread. It's great.
Just give me some salty bread then. You don't have to let it sit out until it gets all soggy and gross.
Oh, it's so good. My least favorite would probably be I guarantee you're not gonna like this. Mashed potatoes.
That's my favorite. God damn it.
See, if I just wanted to eat bland, I would just have just a. I don't want to eat bland. All potatoes suck.
Whoa,
fried.
That's a hot take. I think potatoes.
I don't like potatoes unless they're really highly seasoned, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can put gravy on the mashed potatoes." I don't like gravy. Gravy tastes gross.
Whoa.
Oh yeah. Gravy, it's just liquid beef. No, I don't need liquid beef. I don't even like beef to begin with all that much. I like hamburgers, but I don't mind steak, but when it's just like beef, like cooked beef or some shit like that, like roast beef, fucking gross.
Really? I'm surprised. I would say that's a pretty hot take. Because then, like, what about like a juicy burger or like sloppy joe's?
Burgers and roast beef.
Right, but it's like I like
sloppy joe's. Not a fan of either.
That's fair. It's a texture thing.
It's a texture, and also I don't like the flavor all that much. It's fine.
Yeah,
like, I'm not a big chili fan. I'll eat chili. Like,
me either.
To be clear, I can totally see why everyone likes these foods that I don't like, and I don't mind mashed potatoes sometimes, but
they do have to be seasoned. They have to be well made. Like white people mashed potatoes are.
Every time I get mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving, it's not seasoned. It's just fucking. It's potatoes, either the stuff from the box, which, whatever, give or take, or it's just potatoes with milk and butter all whipped up.
No, so you can't do that. I need like a metric shit ton of like cracked black pepper. Like I put when I do my pepper grinder, I put it on the highest setting till it's basically just. Cut a black peppercorn, a smoked peppercorn. I love me some smoked peppercorns. Cut it in half and put it in there. Like it's basically the chunks aren't even. It's not even really being ground up. It's just being slightly broken in half. I love just the huge chunks. And do some like dill. Put some fresh dill in there. Put some like maybe a little smoked paprika. Like just something so it's not just potatoes and milk. You know. My favorite, my number one favorite Thanksgiving food. It's so funny that you said that. It's mashed potatoes, but they got to be well made, because that's what I always go back for. Like my second plate is usually half mashed potatoes, and this is one of the only times where I actually like this. I love when it all just gets mixed together. Like normally I hate that. It's a weird texture thing for me. I love when your mashed potatoes, like you just get some turkey with gravy and you just dip it in the mashed potatoes, and it's got like some of the cranberry sauce, and it's got some like a little bit of like mac and cheese. I always like a good mac and cheese. We're making so Police's dad is from the Bahamas, and he makes this incredible mac and cheese with like peppers and like hot mustard, and like it's spicy. He makes it real spicy.
Good.
Yeah. So I've just been I think I've been spoiled a bit between my ex and my current partner. Thanksgivings with their families were lit. Like some of the best mac and cheese, like a sweet potato pie with like marshmallows on top that you just like bake in the oven for a little bit to get like the crispy marshmallow on top of the sweet potato.
I've never had sweet potato pie, and mainly because it doesn't sound appetizing to me, but because everyone says, oh, you put marshmallow, I'm like, marshmallows and potatoes? That just sounds fucking gross.
But sweet potatoes, like, do you ever go to like an Outback or something and they have like, you can get the loaded baked potato that, you know, the regular potato, it's got like cheese and chives and bacon and stuff. A loaded sweet potato is usually like brown sugar and marshmallow, like something like sweeter because it's a sweeter potato. So I think it just pairs better. It's not a savory. you know,
I've never tried it. Just like I said, I'm not just sweet potato. Like I don't like sweet potato fries. I always think sweet potatoes in general have a weird taste to them.
yeah.
But anyway,
I don't usually prefer them.
Continue. I'd be curious to try it at least. Yeah.
Do you have an Iron Hill brewery near you?
I don't know.
I know they're all over the place, but that's the one place where I will actively choose sweet potato fries over regular fries, and it's because the sauce that they bring out for it is like a bourbon vanilla, and it's ridiculously good. Anyway, I hope you get lots of stuffing, and I hope I get no stuffing. I don't know why I'm saying that like I'm not in control.
I'll take your stuffing, Andrew.
Okay. That's what she said, as well as I was saying, like, I hope I don't get any stuffing. I'm in full control of what we're making. It's just going to be me and Polisa and my mom's coming up, and we're going to keep it super chill because I don't want to do big family gatherings anymore, especially with
don't blame you.
Something that happened earlier this month.
Less desirable family members.
Yeah, just the election in general.
Yeah. Nope. What is it? My niece recently got baptized, and I had some Trumper family members there. We didn't talk about the election or anything like that. They don't normally talk politics with me, but it still hung over the air. It wasn't fun.
And that's not the kind of hungover that you want to have on Thanksgiving. No. No. Anyway, I will let you get to Paper Mario. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I have to, we're hosting Thanksgiving, so that's going to be our main cook day. I may still do a Wildcard Wednesday. I'm not sure.
What are you doing during the day?
Cooking.
I think it'll be fine. You'll have time to stream.
Yeah, probably.
But all right, I'm gonna hop over. I got to turn on my stream, and then I actually have to use the bathroom. So I'll turn on my stream to get that started and put a little countdown on it.
Nice.
And I'll be over there.
Alrighty, sounds good. Thanks for joining as always, and we'll see you next week. And I don't know what else to say. Take it easy.
All right, I will be over there. See you.
All right, peace. All right, that is going to do it here on the Experience Point for myself as well. Hope you're all doing okay. It's tough to go be around family in general sometimes, but especially right now. So hang in there. You can always come hang out in one of our streams. It's a very safe space. Eat good food. Take care of yourselves. Take care of you and yours. Go to therapy. And we'll catch you next time. Everyone that I am very thankful for. Love you guys. Night.